Divide with whole numbers and fractions. Whole numbers can be turned into fractions by putting them over 1. And so example 1, a tank of gas weighs 151 pounds, and 1 gallon of gas weighs 7 2/5 pounds. How many gallons of gas are there in the tank of gas? So we're going to use this equation below to help us solve. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this 151 over 1. So we make that whole number into a fraction. And then we're going to multiply by the second term's reciprocal. So we have 5 over 37. So now we can go ahead and multiply. So now we have 151 times 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So we'll carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So we get 755. And then we get this 1 times 37, which is equal to 37. So let's go see if we can divide 37 into 755. So 37, let's do this, times 2 is equal to 14. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we get 74. So that's pretty close. So let's do 2 up here. We'll subtract, we get 1, and then we get 15. 37 can't go into 15, so it's 20, and we left with a decimal. So we're just going to leave this as is, as it's in its reduced form. So let's go ahead and do another example. There is a 100-foot roll of heater hose. How many cars can be fixed if 9.5 feet of hose is needed for each car? So let's use the expression below to solve. So once again, this expression is going to become 100 over 1, because that's how we make a whole number to a fraction. Then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second term. So times 2 over 19. Now, we can go ahead and multiply. So we get 100 times 2 and 1 times 19. So 100 times 2 is 200, and 1 times 19 is 19. And this would be its reduced form, as 19 is a prime number and doesn't go into 20. But if you wanted to see how many roughly cars that would do, you would divide, right? So you would go 200 divided by 19. This becomes 1. 19 times 1 is 19. Subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 0. So now we get 10, which I can't go into it. So roughly it will fix 10 vehicles. This is just so you can kind of get some ideas of how many cars that would be. So now let's go ahead and look at another example. How many pieces of 4 7/8 inch air duct tubing can one get from a 6-foot piece? So 6 foot is really just 72 inches, so that's why we have the 72 here. And so now we're going to put the 72 over 1 to make it a fraction. And then we're going to go divide by 39 over 8, which that became an improper fraction. So instead, now we're going to then multiply, and we're going to put it 8 over 39 as we take the reciprocal, and then we'll multiply. So we have 72 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 8 times 7 is 72, plus 1 is 73. So now we get, by multiplying those two numbers, we get 736 over 1 times 39 is 39. So this would be our answer. And if we kind of want to see what that would, like how many whole pieces you can get from that, you would get 736. 39 goes into 73 one time. So then we'll subtract. We need to borrow. So 13 minus 9 is 4. 6 minus 3 is 3. So then we get 34. We're going to bring down that 6. And so now we get 39 goes into 346 how many times? So we're going to guess 39 times 8 to get 72. And then we get 8 times 3 is 24 plus 7, which is 31. So pretty close. So now we can go 8 here and 312 here, and we subtract. So then we get 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we get 34. So we get about 18 whole pieces on this. And this just was an extra step so we can see how many whole pieces. 'Cause you can leave as is as this fraction, and this would be our correct answer.